Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh all alone with you guys on a quick microcast update episode here this morning because the Browns have flacked around and they have found out. Joe Flacco coming back to the Cleveland Browns here in 2025 on a one-year, $4 million deal worth up to $13 million in incentives. And yes, I am wearing my Flack Around and Find Out t-shirt, and we don't promote it very often, but we do have a merch store, thedogspodcast.com/shop. If you want to head over there, these will be available once again, and you can get your Joe Flacco gear and get ready for the 2025 season. But I just want to jump on here real quick today and talk about the Joe Flacco signing, number one. Just make sure you guys hear about it from us too, and just a couple quick thoughts on what it could mean for the Browns. So before I do that, real quick, if you guys just like the video, subscribe on YouTube, tap the notification bell, and follow us on all the socials at the Dogs Podcast everywhere, and then head over to jointhedogs.com to be part of our official Dog Pack community over on Patreon and Discord. So with the Browns bringing in Joe Flacco, like I said, just going to give you some quick thoughts. I talked to Blake a little bit this morning after it happened. We were not expecting any move like this, whether it be Joe Flacco or Kirk Cousins, which were the two likely options. One of those two was going to happen probably for the Browns. We were not expecting that to happen this soon before the draft. You know, everybody just kind of figured, well, if they end up making a move for Kirk Cousins, it'll be during the draft or after the draft, see what they do at pick 2 and all that kind of stuff, or in the first round. Joe Flacco maybe as a last resort type thing. But here the Browns go, making the move to sign Joe Flacco and add him to the quarterback room. You know, we're just a little shy of 2 weeks out from the draft, and we are 2 weeks out from draft weekend in general. So it's an interesting time for them to do it. They add Joe Flacco to the quarterback room, which is just Kenny Pickett right now. We're not going to talk about Deshaun Watson because I don't believe that he is part of the quarterback room anymore in the Browns' eyes. So it's now Flacco and it's Pickett. So a couple thoughts. I posted this online today, and we'll just kind of go through each one. And then I will skedaddle and get out of here and let you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we will be back with you next week to break it down even further as a group. But first and foremost, I believe this definitely means the Titans are locked into Cam Ward at number 1. There is no trading out of one. There is no option for the Browns to move up to get Cam Ward. He is off the board for the Browns. So that means, in my opinion, and Blake, based on our conversation today, he agrees, Travis Hunter most likely locked into the pick for the Browns at 2, which is awesome because we complain all the time, every year. Why don't the Browns have good players on the team? Why we watch all these other teams have these face of the franchise type players, you know, at receiver or running back, you know, and quarterback, obviously, but, you know, these other skill positions that are just high profile players in the league. And the Browns don't ever have those guys. Take Travis Hunter at 2, and now you've got one. So, like I mentioned before, the next thing here, Kirk Cousins, he ain't coming to Cleveland. I don't know what that whole him at Chipotle thing was up in Westlake. What was that, last week or the week before? But, I mean, if he was truly in town for medical evaluation, maybe the Browns didn't like what, you know, was found in that evaluation. Or maybe they just, you know, they're talking to the Falcons and it's like, this isn't going to happen. What they're asking for is way too, you know, outlandish. It's we can't make this trade. Or they just look at the cap situation and what the Falcons want the Browns to take on with Kirk Cousins, and they said, nah, we're out. We're just out. So let's go get Joe Flacco. And that's what they did. The next thing, and this one is kind of up for debate, definitely on social media. I've been seeing people going both sides of the aisle with this one. And Blake and I are kind of lockstep that this kind of means the Browns, in our opinion, are most likely out on Shedeur Sanders, especially at pick 2. Early in the draft, pick 2, or even like a little trade back in the top 10, I don't think that Shedeur Sanders is the guy for the Browns. You know, and I've been seeing, I think it was Adam Schefter posted, or maybe it was Todd McShay, I can't remember, one of those two, about how, you know, now the Browns at 2 they've traded for Kenny Pickett, and now they've signed Joe Flacco. The Giants, sitting right behind us at 3, have signed Jameis Winston and signed Russell Wilson. So the Shedeur slide in the first round could very well happen. These top teams are saying, we've evaluated him, we've worked him out, we've met with him, we've interviewed, all these types of things, and we're still adding quarterbacks to the room because we're just not sold. So does he fall to the Saints at 9? Does he get past the Saints at 9 and go even further? We will see. But I do think that the Browns, this indicates that they are not into Shedeur Sanders, at least not early in the draft. But I will not rule out a trade up for Jackson Dart, because you kind of look at the play style of the quarterbacks on the roster, Pickett, Flacco. I don't know what the Browns are exactly building toward. I do believe they have a plan, but we'll see how that plan comes to fruition over the next 2 weeks. But Jackson Dart does make a lot of sense, and I know the Browns have spent a lot of time with him in the pre-draft process. Kevin Stefanski likes him, and we'll see if they make a move on draft night to get up in the first round and take him, because I don't think Dart falls out of the first round, but we'll see. Crazier things have definitely happened. The biggest indicator for me, and I've seen a lot of people agreeing with this on social media, you guys let me know in the comments what you think, but to me, I feel like this kind of really puts the check mark on Jaylen Milroe to the Browns, because, and I know you guys have watched the show and you know that I'm a Milroe guy, Blake and Justin are not, but at the end of the day, what are the Browns doing? So I said, having Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett on the roster gives you the luxury to draft a Jaylen Milroe, but you do not have to expect him to start at any point in 2025, because you've got 2 veteran options ahead of him. He gets to effectively come in to the system as a QB3, as a rookie, which is probably the best route for him coming into the NFL to develop. You don't want the pressure of, well, you got to start week 1 or you got to start by week 3 or 4 or whatever it may be. No, we probably start the season, I would assume, with Joe Flacco. And then if he's, not what he was 2 years ago, or, it's kind of fallen off the edge a little bit, or he's just a little too old to handle the workload, the rigor of the NFL, well, then you move to Kenny Pickett as your QB2, and you still don't have to worry about Jaylen Milroe really taking any meaningful snaps in 2025. But if Jaylen Milroe comes in and he learns the offense quicker than expected, he adjusts and develops and fixes the mechanics that, were a concern last year in college, and all these things. And now all of a sudden the Browns, you're sitting back saying, well, I think Milroe could actually come in here and start now. I think he is ready at any point in 2025. Neither of these quarterbacks prevent that from happening. So they kind of safeguard him from having to start, but they also don't prevent him from starting if he's ready. I think the situation is shaping up nicely for whichever rookie quarterback we do draft, because I do believe we are drafting somebody. And I would bet it's going to be on night 1. I think they're going to have to move into the first round to get either Dart or Milroe. Now, there's a chance Milroe slides and he just is sitting there at 33. But the Browns might want to move up even a couple spots into the first just to secure that 5th-year option. I know the 5th-year option isn't what it used to be, and it's really not that big of a deal, especially for the quarterback position. But it's still another, feather in the cap, when the Browns come to negotiating and things like that down the road. So that's kind of the quick hitters and points on this whole thing. The thing that we know for sure, though, if Joe Flacco is the starter when the season opens up in September, there's going to be a lot of interceptions, number 1. But number 2, there's going to be a lot of big plays. Jerry Jeudy, Travis Hunter, David Njoku, these guys are going to feast, and it will be a lot of fun, as long as Joe is still the Joe that we saw in 2023. And I kind of wanted to just look back real quick, remind myself even, what Joe Flacco did in 2023. So he came in for the Browns. He started, and we're not going to talk about the playoff game because woof. So he played 5 games for the Browns, went 4-1 in those games, had a 60.3% completion. That's, whatever, it's okay. But he threw for 1,616 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, which was the killer. But he averaged 323 yards per game in Kevin Stefanski's offense, behind a beaten up, backup makeshift offensive line. We had Jerron Christian, I think, and some other random people starting on that offensive line from other teams' practice squads. We had no Nick Chubb. It was just Jerome Ford, who can't stop running into the backside of his linemen and getting stuffed at the line and all that stuff. So he was the generator of the entire offense, and he made it happen. So if we can get the backfield fixed, if we've got a secure offensive line in front of him, he could hold down the fort for the majority, if not all of 2025, just, barring injuries and just depending on whether or not he's still got that kind of juice in the tank. Last year at age 39 in 2024 was with the Indianapolis Colts. Played in 8 games, started 6 of them, had a 2-4 record in his start, so quite different from the year before with Cleveland. 1,761 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 7 picks. So kind of similar numbers, just one more start than he had with the Browns the year before. So just a quick rundown on the most recent stats for Joe Flacco and what he was able to do at the NFL. But he's back. Flack is back. We are going to flack around and find out. It's a fun saying, and we're going to keep doing it, even though it is a little corny, but who cares? This team was no fun to watch last year, and at least some of the moves they're making here in the offseason have indicated that the team could at least be fun to watch again. Are we going to the playoffs in 2025? I'm not betting on that. Are we at least going to be fun to watch if Joe Flacco's out there slinging the rock around to Jerry Jeudy and we get Travis Hunter on this offense and we fix up the backfield and get some explosive guys that are exciting to see run the ball? It'll be more fun to watch for sure. So that's really all I got here on this quick update for the Joe Flacco signing. Just wanted to get this out to you guys, talk about it real quick, and wish you guys a happy weekend. It's Friday, so enjoy yourselves, and we will be back next week. The plan is, and you guys know how plans are, best laid plans, right? But the plan at the moment, Tuesday night, not sure exactly the time yet, maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be going live on YouTube, Facebook, and X from our new studio. We want to do a test run, a test live show before we do the NFL draft show live the following Thursday. So next Tuesday night, make sure you guys have that notification bell tapped so you don't miss when that live show starts. We will be in our new studio. We'll be getting all of the reactions from the Joe Flacco signing from Blake and Justin. We'll be with you guys in the live chat so you guys can feed into it as well. We'll talk about it all, and anything else that comes out over the weekend, we will be covering on that show Tuesday night. So make sure you guys stay tuned and don't miss that. Kenny Mack and I actually did a mock draft 6.0 episode yesterday where Kenny Mack did something a little unorthodox in Brown's mock draft space here this offseason, but I was going to put that out today, and then the Joe Flacco news dropped, and I wanted to do this first, and then I thought about it, and what Kenny was going through in his mock draft scenario actually plays a little better having Joe Flacco on the roster, so stay tuned for that. That should come out on Sunday now, so we'll get that to you then. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, jointhedogs.com if you want to be part of the Dog Pack community and get in there with all of our diehard Browns fans. Just an awesome group of people. They have been in there like crazy today talking about everything with Joe Flacco. It's been a ton of fun. So jointhedogs.com. Appreciate you guys. See you guys in the next one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order. And that code can be used over and over. So you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. Dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.